Today's video is my full review of the IndieVice smartphone video rig. Is this the right setup for you? Let's find out. Hey guys, Blake Calhoun, and in my previous video I did an unboxing of the IndieVice. And so if you haven't seen that, you might watch that first, or definitely watch it after this video so you know what is included in this kit. It comes with quite a few accessories, so in this video I'm going to take a more detailed look at how those things work and how I use them in actual shooting scenarios. And at the end I'll give you my thoughts on whether I think this is a good buy or not. So the first accessory we'll look at are the lens masks, and when I did the unboxing I didn't really know what these were. But after playing with them, they're more or less like a donut that you would use on a traditional camera in a matte box. So they block the light that would be bouncing around or reflecting between a lens and a filter, that kind of thing. And the cool thing is they have them for pretty much any kind of phone you can imagine. This diagram is from the IndieVice website and it's part of the user manual. Each one of the masks is numbered and then that will tell you which one you use for your particular phone. In all the testing in this video, I'm using the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So the mask goes into this mount, you twist it on, and then you'll position it over the lens once you install your phone. Phone install is pretty easy, although this bigger phone, this iPhone 11 Pro Max, is a little bit beefy for it, I think, but it does fit. The center knob tightens down the lens mount, and then the top dial tightens down the clasp that goes over the phone. You definitely want to make sure those are locked down tight, but not too tight. The rig is plastic, but it does feel pretty strong. Then you can even shoot with it up top, or you swivel it down to connect it to the body. The lens mount is 52mm, and that's the size of the lenses they include with this kit. There's a swivel lock on the bottom that you need to fasten. It's more or less a small clamp, and it will hold the mechanism together when you are shooting with it in this down position. If you're using a tripod like I am here, it can be a little bit tricky to swivel that up and down. Just something to note. This is a very simple start-stop remote that you connect via Bluetooth to your phone. It's also magnetic, and so it will connect to the handle or below that to the body. It is rechargeable, and fully charged it will last about 15 hours. And it's up to you where you want to position it based on your grip, or if you want to use it at all. It's not required. This is a time lapse I shot on the dash of my car, and while that in itself isn't that special, if you ever tried to do this with a phone, it's not easy. You need to put a tripod down, and so the flat bottom of the IndieVice really is pretty cool for doing shots like this. And using it in conjunction with the ultra-wide lens, you don't have the OIS issues, and so the footage is not all jittery and jello-y. So I really like this setup a lot. And then being outside, using the viewfinder is a really nice way to go. It's one of the bigger selling points to this setup, I think. Now normally I would secure this better, like with maybe some bungee cords or some tape, but in this situation it actually worked fine. And by the way, I am using FiLMiC Pro for all these demo shots. And so for this stuff I shot with the phone down, swiveled down using the viewfinder. But of course you can shoot with it upright as well. And so here is some video footage shot on the dash. And again, it's pretty cool to be able to do this because otherwise you would need a tripod. And again, with no OIS, it actually works. That's an iPhone thing, not an IndieVice thing, but it is a pretty cool combination. So the phone is swiveled up here, that way you can see the screen and control it easily. But then you still have the flat base to support it. Although here with these driving shots, I did hold it with my hand as well, just for extra support. Again, if I was doing this for real, I would secure it to the dash. So it may seem like a small thing, but the flat bottom idea of this rig really makes it easy to use in a wide variety of situations. Something you take for granted using a larger form factor or traditional camera. But where the IndieVice probably shines the most is shooting handheld. It's still very light, but then it also gives you enough weight to give you resistance when you're shooting handheld, which I really like. And it has the hand strap on the side just like a traditional camcorder, so it is super simple to shoot like this. And when you put a mic on there, it really turns into a very versatile setup. And really the eyepiece is probably one of the biggest selling points. Shooting outside in bright light is very challenging, and so this makes it really great in those situations especially. But anytime really, as it's very nice to be able to see the screen so close to your face. It really acts like a traditional viewfinder, but this is also one of the bigger challenges using the IndieVice. And that is that with your smartphone, you control the functions with your screen, a touchscreen. But you can definitely do it using the eyepiece. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's not hard either. I think the benefit of using it, especially shooting outside, outweighs the negatives here. You could always swivel the phone up, set your settings, and then swivel it back down. Or you could use a remote like FiLMiC Remote, and then just have whoever's shooting using the eyepiece. It could be controlled from another location. So one weird thing is the lenses have no marking on them. There's no labels to tell you which millimeter is which or which lens is which. Not a big deal, but it would have been nice if they would have included that. I do like the cases they include though. These are pretty nice. So for this test, I put the phone in the upright position, and depending on what you're doing, this is a good way to work, especially if you're not worried about being out in bright sun. So first up is the IndieVice Wide. The build quality of these lenses feels pretty solid. It's the iPhone Wide with the IndieVice Wide. Notice the defocused edges on the right side of the frame. So next up here, iPhone Tele with the IndieVice Wide. And the Tele looks pretty good. And now the next one here. And the iPhone Ultra Wide with the IndieVice Wide. Obviously a stylized shot, you wouldn't use this much, but it does look kind of cool. So when I went to remove the wide lens, I got a little bit of a surprise. At first I thought it came apart like it broke, but actually it includes a macro lens, and so it comes apart on purpose. So that's actually pretty cool. Although I did not actually test the macro lens by itself. All right, so now we'll look at the IndieVice Tele. That's the IndieVice Tele on the iPhone Ultra Wide. Again, a stylized shot, but just wanted to show what it looks like. And now here I ran into a little bit of trouble. I've got the IndieVice Tele and I'm trying to put it on the iPhone Wide. But just switching the lenses, it didn't work. And so I had to do some adjustments here. So that was a little bit of a pain to put the Tele on. I had to reposition the lens out further. It's still not perfect. It's unfortunate here that you can't just swap lenses without moving the lens mount. And this is the IndieVice Tele on the iPhone Tele. And so the Tele on Tele works fine, it looks good. I did have to readjust though to go back to it. All right, here is the iPhone Wide with the IndieVice Tele. You can see on the upper left side where I have the lens position, you're getting a lot of light leak, and that's what that mask is supposed to block, but it's not. And that's the best position I could get it. You can see in the frame there are a lot of reflections. I'm blocking them with my hand now. So with this initial test, I would say the Tele works good with the iPhone Tele, but it doesn't work well with the native iPhone Wide, which is unfortunate. Probably need to play with this more, but that's my initial findings. Next up, the fisheye. All right, so this is the fisheye from IndieVice, and it's on the ultra wide right now. It is a stylized look. It looks like the peephole shot you might see in a movie. And there's the iPhone Wide with the IndieVice fisheye. Again, a very stylized look because you're seeing the edges. And notice the defocused right edge over there, similar to what I saw earlier on the wide lens. And so I don't know if this is an iPhone issue or their lens issue, but it is pretty soft and defocused there. And now here's the iPhone Tele with the IndieVice fisheye. Not really sure I'd ever actually do this, but here it is anyway. So using the IndieVice lenses is one option, but the nice thing is because it's a 52mm mount, you could also put filters on there and a lot more. So one thing that's nice about this mount is it is 52mm. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I don't really have any 52mm filters, but I do have step-up rings. And so this is a 52 to 58 step-up ring. Then you can put some filters on there. This is a solid 1.2 ND filter. So now the filter's on, and then you can put your phone in. So you could, of course, either shoot with the phone up top like this, or you could spin it underneath. And that way you could use the viewfinder on the back. So using it like this with filters is a pretty cool way to go. You may have noticed when I showed the mask that there was an Moondog Labs adapter connected to one of the masks. And actually, it's not a mask. It is another mount. And so you could take this mount off here. This is a 52mm, and put this one on. There's some screws on the back. This is 37mm mount. And so then you could either put 37mm mount filters on this, or you could put a lens like this. This is the Moondog Labs anamorphic that is 37mm mount. And that would just screw in once this was mounted. The tricky part would be positioning this over the correct lens on your phone. And so I haven't tested that, but that is something that you can definitely try with this rig. You might just prefer to use filters, but it is nice to be able to use any kind of 37mm mount lenses. In most of the testing I did in this video, I did not have a case on there, but I put the Moment thin case on here. And so you could move this mount out of the way and connect a lens like a Moment lens. This is a Moment wide. And so for those of you that already have lenses, I would suggest sticking with the lenses you have, because I do think while the lenses from IndieVice, they can be good to have and they can give you looks that you otherwise couldn't achieve necessarily with your phone, especially the fisheye. My tests show that they're not the highest quality. And so for higher quality, third-party options from Moment, etc. are better. And one last thing I wanted to show is the GoPro connection. In the unboxing, I mentioned this and you might've been like, what? What's the GoPro connection? Well, that's what this is. And it goes underneath this knob. So the knob tightens that down and the lens mount / filter mount. And then you can put a GoPro on there. Now this is an old GoPro. I haven't updated my GoPros in quite a while, but nonetheless, you would connect it right here. You might use this as a second shot or behind the scenes camera. Lots of different ways to implement this design. Overall, I think the IndieVice is a pretty interesting rig. It's absolutely not for everybody. I can already read the YouTube comments right now. What's the point of this? Why would you rig your phone out like this? Blah, blah, blah. I totally get it. For some people, the idea of mobile video, mobile filmmaking is keeping it very mobile. But that's not everybody's idea, for sure. You could say the same thing really about mirrorless cameras or DSLRs, where you trick those out with matte boxes and follow focus and all that kind of stuff. Half the time you don't really need that in quotes, but it does make your job easier. Same with the phone if you're using a phone in a more professional environment. In particular, I think for people doing mobile journalism, documentary, event video, corporate video, indie filmmakers. If you're just a person who runs around with your phone to shoot various shots of friends or family or travel, this is not for you, that's for sure. But if you use your phone maybe as your primary device to shoot more short films, YouTube videos, promotional videos, whatever you're trying to do, then rigging your phone up is actually pretty beneficial. You might have seen recently that Lady Gaga shot a music video with an iPhone. Well, not her, but you know, a DP, a director, that kind of thing. And they rigged it out on a large Steadicam system. It was still shot on a phone though. It was shot on an iPhone 11 Pro. And in that scenario, they needed to rig it out. And so really it's just a different mindset, I think, and obviously it depends on what you're doing. So in saying all that, I think the IndieVice body, the smart body as they call it, is pretty good. And I think for those looking to rig out their camera, it's worth considering. But their current version of the lenses, I would not necessarily recommend. What I would like to see is a version 2 of these lenses to come out and see if they could improve the quality of the glass and even charge a little bit more. Because the cost of these lenses is pretty cheap. I think all 3 of them together are about the cost of a Moment lens. If you want to go with some lenses, then third party is the way to go. To learn more about smartphone video and mobile filmmaking, be sure to check out the other videos on our channel. Or consider enrolling in one of our courses. Master the FiLMiC Pro app, or color grading in LumaFusion. And learn about smartphone video and cinematography. And don't forget, we also have a filmmaking podcast. Links for all these are in the description. So yeah, there's a few things you have to work around, like being able to easily touch the screen on your phone using the viewfinder. But I do think if you're outside in bright light, the positives do outweigh the negatives there for sure. And then also just the larger form factor itself makes it much easier to shoot with, to handle, to set down, to get shots on the ground, on the dash of your car, whatever you want to do. I do think that the price is a little bit high. I'd like to see them bring that down. Overall, I do give it a thumbs up for those of you looking to rig up your phone like this, but I would pass on the lenses right now. I would just look at getting the body and use your own lenses. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.